Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dancing Heart podcast. I am so excited to introduce this week's guest. She is the founder of ROGA community. She is an amazing community builder, and we met in the online community, and it's been so amazing to connect with her, and I'm super excited to bring her on the podcast today. Welcome to the show, Rivka.
Thank you so much, Shorty, for having me. I'm like so honored that you even reached out to me and to be here and to just be a part of something that really makes people's hearts dance. Like that's what I really want. So thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I am so excited too. We're gonna cover some really amazing topics to get today, like your story and how you found yourself, like not just your heart dancing, but also your soul dancing, where you're living now in Jerusalem in Israel. And I know that you grew up in New York and you've been only living in Jerusalem for your second year of living there, and you are doing such amazing things. But I also know that your path hasn't always been very so direct, and how you really found your way back to, what is truth for you and what tools that you have used to come back to the connection with yourself, the connection with God and faith and meditation. And you have to stay tuned for the end of this episode, guys, because Rivka is going to lead us through a guided meditation, which I'm super excited about.
Yes.
So, Rivka, can you describe how it is to live in Jerusalem?
Yes. I think you need a whole nother podcast for that. But thank God, yeah, I've been living here since August and I really wake up every day with so much just gratitude to be living here in a place that I feel so aligned and like my soul just knowing that, like, I have to remind myself sometimes because sometimes you can get used to like the mundane, but I remind myself that I'm living in Jerusalem, in the holy city, the one that we pray about, the one that's spoken about in history. And there's such a light here that I had never seen anywhere else. And I feel so grateful to be living here and waking up every day. And something that I actually say is that like my worst day in Jerusalem doesn't compare to like my best days out of Jerusalem. Like whenever I'm here, like even hard days just feel like the best, just knowing that I'm here and the energy that's here and the people and the community and the land. Like there's so much richness, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of it and so lucky. I feel so blessed.
And just by
So,
talking to you and having you on a podcast, I feel activated because you are in such a place where you feel so activated and alive. And when you told me that my heart is not just my heart is dancing here, but my whole soul is dancing. You're so activated. But I know you said your worst day in Jerusalem couldn't even compare to your best day not being in Jerusalem. So Rivka, take me back to where your journey started, because you didn't grow up in Israel. You grew up in New York.
in Brooklyn. Oh yeah. So I grew up in Brooklyn in a small town called Crown Heights, which is like a Chabad community. It's like a sect in Judaism. Thank God I had an amazing home and parents and obviously like the ups and downs in every household. But overall I had a I want to say like good childhood, but I also wasn't like a good kid. So I feel like I kind of maybe made my own roughness because from being like kind of more on the wilder side. Um, and I grew up there. I grew up with an Israeli dad and a Venezuelan mom, and that definitely had its own flavor to it. Um, but I grew up in Brooklyn. We always had a connection to Israel. We used to come for family events or just to visit. My grandparents live here, so I'm really just so grateful I was able to even have a taste. But it was always in our home and just in Judaism, like Israel is our home, Israel we're meant to be. And every time I went there, I remember feeling like even like when I was 12 or 8, when I came as a kid, feeling like, wow, I love it. I love myself here. I love who I am when I'm in Israel. Um, and I just was always thirsty for that.
You said you love who you are when you are in Israel. Is it the frequency? Is it the connection to God? Like, why do you think there is such a different connection feeling when you are in Israel?
So I'm gonna ask like God to give me the right answer because I don't know. You know, I mean, I could give you what I think and what I believe, but I do believe that God blessed this land, and I believe this is like kind of the core of the world. I like to believe that. So there's like definitely a heavy God's presence here, and you feel it. And you speak to anyone that lives here, anyone that doesn't live here, they say that they feel this. There's a lot of not only Judaism, there's a lot of religions here. There's Christianity, there's Muslim. There's definitely a pull to godliness here. And besides the fact that Israel is named so many times in the Torah, with like the Bible, the Jewish Bible, um, there is a I believe it kind of started here. That's what I believe. I believe that there's this is like a starting point for the world, which is such a big thing to say, but I really feel when I walk on this land, like I feel just connected to like humanity. Like there's something so strong here for me. I can't even speak for anyone else, but for me, I feel that this is like there's something special here, and it's more of like a feeling than like more logical. But I'm sure there's backup stories that they can give you about the actual richness of this land. And like Israel as a whole, and then Jerusalem, and you know,
And you have felt it. You feel it in your body, and this is how it feels like to you. So, thank you for sharing that. And let's go deeper into the connection with God because you mentioned God. This is the land of God. And I know that your relationship and connection to God hasn't always been so strong and so present that it is in your life right now. And I know that God in the Judaism is very, you're praying every single day and you have it's a big part of your religion. So tell me how like the connection with God was when you grew up and how you found your way back to the connection to God later in life.
so it's an amazing question. Um, and a lot of people ask me like, I grew up religious, but then I wasn't religious for a very long time, and then I kind of came back in my own way. And everyone's like, "How did you, how did you lose God, and how did you find God?" Like everyone, that's like what everyone's asking. It's a big question, like what. And so I grew up again religious, Jewish, Chabad, and to no one's fault, but I just didn't feel like the godliness in my life. I felt like I was wearing the outfits, I was saying the prayers, and I was doing the things, but I never felt like my soul was in it. Never felt like I was really connected to what I was learning. Um, and then again, so I grew up like following the rules, and at a very young age, I was like, I don't know if this is for me, and did everything that the Torah kind of told me not to do, that the Bible told me not to do. I kind of, ate the pig, didn't do Yom Kippur, like all these days. I was like, who are you to tell me what? Like, I was a very much like a rebel, but I know that I was just thirsty for truth. I knew what truth felt like, and I was like looking for that. And I was like, didn't feel like this was it for me. And I'm very grateful for that little girl that just needed to be her. And until eventually, like, kind of fast forward, 21, I kind of hit like a rock bottom. And something that I've heard actually that really stuck with me is that whenever you hit rock bottom, you realize that God was the rock at the bottom. And like he was really what like we kind of fell onto. And I really like at 21, I really feel like I had everything that I wanted. So like what you said, like your story also, I had the cars, I had the friends, I had the this, and I was just so empty. Like I felt like now what, and I didn't feel like I was like going anywhere from there. So with a lot of exploring, I came across actually a rock path, which is like basically a rock maze, um, in a place that I was at. And the person I was like facilitating it, she said, bring someone with you. And I decided to bring God. I was like very in like a really like searching space in my life. And I walked with like whatever God was at the time. I didn't even speak to God until that point from what I could remember. Like I was saying the prayers, but I was saying it to like this guy in the cloud, like I didn't know who I was like speaking to. I still, still trying to figure that out. But I really never like so okay. So I was walking in the rock path and I just really felt that. And then from there I was like searching and I started getting into Buddhism and I kind of got into yoga and into universe and all these things and doing a lot of YouTubes and through a lot of speaking to people, asking my questions, doing my own research. Thank God I got in touch with a really special person back in Florida when I was living there. My family moved to Florida at one point. And I was asking my questions and I was like, oh, like Buddhism, that sounds so cool. Like living in a mountain, like that seems like what I want to do. And he told me, he's like, you're, and listen, every religion is beautiful in its own way. And not, but maybe just for me, this is what he felt like I needed to hear. He said, you, Rivka, are not put on this earth to just, um, to be calm in a place that's already calm. A mountain's already calm. That's easy. You're put on this earth to be calm. On like before a holiday when there's so many kids crying and there's no food ready and and then find your kumbaya, find your calm in that place of reality of what's going on right now. And that really just kind of sent me on an even deeper hunt to go bigger. I kind of like dropped the Buddhism and I went to more like what felt more aligned. I kept asking myself, what felt good for me. And eventually ended up in a program and I ended up in Israel studying for a year, which is a long story how I got there, but I was placed called Neve Yerushalayim and it's like a Jewish college when I was 22 and I went for a 3-week trip and I ended up staying for 9 months because I was like, this is the truth. And we're just studying, but not just about God. I did so much self love and self healing and speaking to mentors and diving into what matters to me. And I believe that self love was such a turning point to getting closer to God when I started tapping into healing myself and doing EFT tapping and doing all these therapies and all these things to really kind of tap in to kind of break those walls to get closer to my soul. That was able to kind of help me get closer to God. And when I was in Israel, I remember I had to go back to New York at the end of the year. It was like time to go back. And I was crying the whole plane ride. I was like, I can't. It was really hard for me to leave Israel. Like for 8 hours, 12-hour flight, I was crying basically. And that was ever since that day, I moved back to New York for 2 years and worked on my also like again connection. And like I said before, like my connection in New York, I would do all these things like pray and meditate and yoga and to get to like the spiritual level that I felt like I wanted to be at, like what felt good for me, that I felt the second I got off the plane in Israel. Like there was something about like me trying so hard in New York to get to there and like off the plane, I felt that connection, I felt that alignment. So just also I feel like there's so much to the story. But basically was in New York. I had a paper. I mean, maybe I'll try to show you a picture. But that says "Live in Israel." I went to like a seminar thing, and he was talking about how people live in Israel. And I looked at this paper every single morning. I would do my jumping jacks in the morning, and I would do putting on my makeup, and I would just look at the paper to live in Israel for 2 years, or maybe like a year and a half, until I finally did the jump after many years of wanting to move and make Aliyah and move to Aliyah is like kind of a program that like helps you just move to Israel. And in the process now I'm kind of like working at it, but I made the jump to go to Israel. It felt very aligned to come in August and I'm beyond happy that I did that. And I've gotten so much more close to myself, to my God and others t this year being here just because it's already, I feel like, built in to this place. In
It
short, I don't know. Yeah.
what
You're
what
getting
an
yeah.
what an incredible story, Rivka. Wow. So your turning point was your rock bottom at 21, and that's where you found God. And it all that from that place, it led you back to Israel. It feels like you don't have to look for this connection or activation. It's just there. Like it's just immediately there. You wake up and you just feel it. It just feels like something is more alive and it's like the frequency is just so different when you are there. And tell me what has shifted in your lives since you moved to Israel?
Good question. What has shifted in my life? Um, I feel like hmm, my desires. I feel like what I feel is important. Um, you know, I really and like and again, I think I also did amazing things in New York, and I think I need to be there at the time. I don't wanna, like, put that down. It's the bones that got me to here, it's the roots that got me to here. So, so grateful for her, but, um, I feel like I wanted, like, very physical things. Like I want to finish my TV show. I wanted to get that really good, whatever, or like that nice thing. And I still have those things for nice things and TV shows here, but my priority is more like, how can I connect to God today? How can I give today? How can I connect to people? How can I make someone happy? Like those are like kind of what drives me and gets me out of bed more than just going to work and just doing the things. And it's so like, sorry, just one more thing. When I was in New York, I used to take the bus every day to work. And I remember being on the bus and be like, I'm not meant to be here. There's something about this bus. I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I'm meant to be here. And I took the bus every day here to my job as well. And I love that bus ride. It's like, so I don't know. It's just like I'm surrounded by my people and beautiful. Everywhere is just so beautiful. Like, look out the window. It's like so beautiful everywhere. I'm just so grateful. And like, it's just incredible. I don't know. I'm like processing with you, like the transition as well. Like just realizing, like.
Yeah, I feel like the frequency of your soul is kind of been elevated as now that you're living in Jerusalem, where you feel like your soul is truly dancing, and you're able to, the connection that you have. How can you give? You're living with more intention, and I know that you have, like I said in the introduction, that you are building your ROGA community. Tell me what is this community about, and what does ROGA mean?
Yes. Amazing question. So where do I start? Meditation and yoga and breathing and healing has been an incredible part of my connection with God. In Judaism, we call it Hashem. And just been such an amazing pathway to get closer to Him. And there's obviously different ways to do it, and ask your local rabbi about the Jewish way of doing things. In my like it for me, I needed to like kind of find the Jewish way because meditation can be pulled in all different religions and all different ways, and not even religion. So okay, so I started doing all that in the beginning. Like I said, I got a yoga mat and I started going to like yoga classes and I started finding things. And one part that I really found that really helped was when people shared. I thought that was like so healing. I actually been to like meetings and I've done different types of group therapy and group things, and I've seen that be so healing for me personally. Besides like yoga and meditation and things that we all know and breathing. So once upon a time when I was living in New York, I told a friend of mine that I wanted that she also kind of was into like healing, and she's an incredible person. And we were like, hey, I want to do like a woman's circle. Like, let's do a woman's circle. And let's just like, we'll do meditation. She'll do music. She's an incredible musician. And we just like brought a bunch of women together. We had some yummy, healthy snacks. And we just kind of, it was just called like an ear women's circle. Ear is like, we have them 12 months also in the Hebrew calendar. So it was just like that month. Um, and it went well, and people really liked it. And I felt more connected after doing it. And I was in New York, and you don't really have so many of this stuff in Crown Heights and Brooklyn, where I was from. But I was really like, it just felt so right to do it, and it felt very guided, and it felt very aligned, and also like leading felt very like leading something good, because I feel like I definitely had in my past to lead kind of not good situations. So I so like it was really like full circle for me. And then it just kind of like every month we kind of got together and we started doing it. And then when I moved to Israel, I still kind of wanted to continue it. These once a month women's circle. So kind of what we do in these events is a mixture of things, but we open up with actually like lighting candles and everyone introducing themselves. Everyone says their name because not everyone knows each other, and say how they feel and just kind of connect them like just a real level. And already that breaks so many walls. Already that just makes us closer instantly. And then I talk a little bit about the energy of the month. Every month, every day every minute has an energy like connected to it. And I kind of just tap into that. And this month is always about like flowers and blooming, and it's like, spring and summer. Um, so we talk about that and we get even more connected. And then I start dancing actually, which is why I feel like I really connect with you because that's my favorite part, one of my favorite parts. But like we just start dancing. I have a whole like playlist that I create beforehand, and we're just dancing and shaking and moving and we tap and we do like we scream and we have tantrums. We just like feel. And I tell people to invite your inner child into this space specifically. Like, let her come and just move her hands up and down or however she wants to move. And it's so powerful. Like, I could feel like the child self come out. It's just like so beautiful because people don't get permission to even do that. And then we kind of slow it down. After that, we do a little bit of yoga, a little bit of stretching. Um, Sometimes I'll play a song, like I'll do music, and I'll have a friend do music. Every time it's kind of like its own flavor. And then we end it off in a meditation. And the whole idea of like the dancing system meditation is kind of to empty out our vessel from last month, become an empty vessel, shake everything off, let it go. And then when we do the meditation, we're letting in the energy. We're an empty vessel. Now we could kind of let it in. I talk about the energy month through the meditation and relax our bodies. And people cry, people fall asleep, people laugh, and it's just so real. It's just so real. Um, that's just like a little bit of what happens. There's so much magic that happens in that. When we close it off and everyone shares again, and it just ends up in like a giant hug, and it's just it's such a beautiful thing, and I really feel like it's. I didn't even know I could do this. Something I went into, it just kind of like happened, and I feel like Hashem, like God, really guided me into doing these. And it's been such an incredible journey to give that over to people. I could go into it so much where like I just think it's so powerful and I love realness. I'm a very raw person. Like I need that authenticity. Um, and when you just look at someone in the eye and they're just telling you like, yeah, someone just passed away or this was a hard day or I'm really happy right now. Like you don't get that every day. I feel like that's not something we really get every day, which like why, you know?
I know.
And, yeah. And I would love to hear anything else and I'll go into the name. If you have anything to say when I ask
Yeah.
again.
I, I love this. I love everything dancing because we are like our heads, like it's really like 10% of our bodies, and we forget that the body is 90% of our whole entire being. And like just bringing movement and dancing and just the permission to be yourself and just take up space with all the emotions and energies. It's so important that you're creating this space for these women. It's really changed how you are. It changes your energy. Like you said, you're emptying your vessel and you can fill it up with something new and more aligned and alive and just like go on your day, and it's like a completely different walk when you're walking out of that room. I've
Yeah,
experienced it myself. Like I love dancing, I dance every single day, and yeah, Dancing Heart podcast is all it's all about dancing and doing what makes your heart dance, right? And
I love
it's
that.
so powerful. So what is the meaning of, yeah, what is the meaning of Roga, like the name of it? Where did it come from?
So I just want to say dancing is my favorite medicine. Laughing, dancing, like so incredible. And I feel like I don't do it as often as I'd like, but that's also why I also feel like I want to do it for myself. Like I want to give myself that permission to really like blast the music and go. Also, I used to go like clubbing back in the days. I don't do that, thank God, anymore. But that was like my way of really letting in. I felt so free back then, and but I realized there's like there's healthy and beautiful and wholesome ways of feeling that liveness. So that has been an incredible journey. And something that someone said at one time in the circles is she's like, you know, I thought I was okay. And then I did this and I realized I'm so not okay. And I actually like need to get back into myself and back into my body and calm down, which is a segue to Roga. So many like I prayed for a name. It's so hard to come up with a name for a business. I love how you come up with Dancing Heart, such a beautiful name. And I'm always paying attention to like Nike and McDonald's and like all these names and like how it started. I'm very into, and I was just really searching for a name for this. It used to just be called Woman's Circle, but I felt that was very generic, and I wanted to kind of give myself like the brand. And Roga in Hebrew actually means calmness. Roga means calmness, and I feel like that's kind of like the end goal of what I want people to feel. We deserve to feel calmness. It's our home, you know. I feel like that center of like calm. So that's number one. And also, it's Rivka and plus yoga is Roga. So that was also kind of cool.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, it's just
And
like a
you
mix of things. Yeah.
and I love that. And you said in your when you said you hit rock bottom and you met this incredible person that told you that you can find calmness like you in the middle of the mountains. So it's also connected back to something that happened to you maybe you didn't see the connection there, but it's always been there
Um,
for you. I feel like you just didn't have the name for it, and then it just came to you.
it really like a lot of like playing around with words. I really had this feeling of wanting to achieve the word. I feel very connected to Hebrew, to like in Israel and the language and the land and the Torah. So I felt very aligned to do something in Hebrew. And it's such an interesting that I always tell people the barber has a worse haircut. I am the least calm person. If you know me, I'm a wild card. Like I'm moving. I'm ADHD. I'm like, and like again, like I feel like I need the events more than anyone else in that room because I feel like I need to get that calm. And I feel like that's what I'm trying to really get into myself. And it's so much easier to give over the advice than actually take it. So I really like my sister really laughed like that. I need the ROGA the most, the
Yeah,
calmness.
and I think like that's why we are doing what we love to do too. Like we need it the most for ourselves, and then we can from that place share our gifts with other and invite them into that place, right?
Totally, totally. I mean, that's like you become who your kid, like your child self needed. That's yeah, and I'm very
Yeah. And you always been like connected to community. I know that also like Judaism and Jews, like the community is so central in your culture and in your religion. I lived in Mexico, so I have a lot of Jewish friends, and I got some introduction to the culture and everything. And I know back when you lived in New York, you also did some like an incredible event that you raised money that you donated to charity to Israel. So I don't know. Is this like community thing and charity and doing these things together like very I feel like it's more something that you all have like that you grew up with and it's come so natural to you?
Wow. It's such a, I love hearing like another person's perspective because I'm like, so like, I'm surrounded by Jews and I love like your perspective on it. And yes, Jewish people are very much into community. I still feel like I created my own community, like I'm still finding my community, but, cause I kind of went my own way. But, this thing called tzedakah, which is charity in Hebrew, I believe. And it's very much like let's say when you get paid, let's say you get $500 for that month, for example, or 5,000 million dollars, you have to give 10% to charity. It's like a part of our like laws that we give 10% to charity, which is basically saying like this is not your money. Yes, you work for it, but at the end of the day, God gives you the money, and you have to give. He's like letting you keep 90%, and you have to kind of give 10%. So that's a kind of like already built in. And there's so many different ways, and we have a lot of like yeah, like, I feel like that's what kind of I feel like the Jews really got it hard in history. We just keep getting it, and I think what helps us kind of build back up is that community, and we, like, trust and the giving throughout each other, but it's hard. It's hard to be a giver, and as much as sometimes there's people that give too much or need or take too much, and, like, there's a balance, but at the end of the day, like, I think, at least for me, like, I have to practice it. It's something that I give coins. We have, like, in the Chabad world, very much into, like, giving coins every day. You give, like, 1 penny just to practice the act of giving. Um, there's, like, so many different alleys of how they kind of input charity, but, um, yeah, it's definitely a big part of what we do and giving and being a light onto people. And how do you do that? By giving. And when giving, you actually like receive, and there's like so much within that. So um, yeah,
I
and
love
then mhm.
yeah that you grew that you all of the like all of you are growing up with this kind of concept or this is just how it is. Like you keep 90% but then you have to give away 10%. Like that is
Yeah.
the law. And everybody knows that. So, do you think this is just like it's teaching you to give? Do you have any like not laws, but do you have any what happens like when you are in the state of like giving? Because I know like from when you give, you also are the biggest receiver in a way. So I just
And vice
like
versa.
yeah, how do you kind of like How was your upbringing? Like you, okay, you need to give away 10%, but then what is the teaching around that?
I think it's first of all a reminder of who's in charge, like a reminder that God gave you your job, God woke you up this morning, God got you dressed, like all that got to you to getting your paycheck was, Hashem, God. And I think that's like just a physical reminder because we're human. At the end of the day, we need those reminders, Um, and I feel like it really it allows you to kind of make it a practice. So I have an incredible rabbi, Deborah Cohen, and he said, um, spiritual s- spirituality is no spiritual is a spirit ritual. So when you're spiritual, you're basically ritual. It's a ritual for your spirit, for your soul. That's like spiritual. And yeah, and also like we say like prayer. This is something I learned recently, like from a book that I read from one of my incredible teachers, also Raquel. It basically said that prayer is just affirmations. We're just affirming that God is our creator and God takes care of us and God, and blessing him. And just saying it's the same prayer every day. Obviously, we show up as a different person every day. We're a different feeling, we're different the energy, different frequency. And but prayer is just like an affirmation. We're just saying it again, reminding ourselves because again, if we're human, we don't have that like built in. We have to we're a man of habit, So I feel like the giving and the so many different levels of giving in charity and in Judaism, that kind of builds that ritual, for our
Mm.
soul, to be a giver and to be like God. That's like a big thing, like to be like God, that he is a giver, you know.
He is the giver and we are the receiver. So I think it's so interesting about prayers because I didn't grow up with like praying. This is something that I had to teach myself how to do. And I only like practice for like a couple of years ago. Then I started to like really do it consistently and to really start believing in that, okay, if I pray, like let's just see what happens, you know? And then I started to receive a lot of signs and messages and things just started to like they were responding to my prayers. And I know there's like a technology behind the prayers and it sounds so easy to do, but it's actually not that easy to really sit down and like, okay, how do you do it? You know? I don't know if I'm sure there's no right or wrong way of doing a prayer, but I just like curious to from your perspective on how do you use prayer in your, daily routines?
Yeah. So in the Jewish world, more for men than women, because women are kind of like less. They don't have to be so rigid about a lot of the laws, but men are like they have to pray in the morning, pray in the afternoon, pray in the evening. They're very into like you know the timing, and there's always like a set time. And I feel like guys men maybe need the reminder about God because women are more spiritual, women are more tapped in. Um, but for me, I it's a journey, it's a work in progress in my prayers, and I have a book called a Siddur, which is separate than the Bible and the Torah, um, and it's called a Siddur, and I pray from that every morning. I wake up, it's like I get dressed, and I pray from that, and it's the same blessings of like Hashem is your God, Hashem is one, Hashem, God, God is your king, God is like and just again affirming that every single day. And I personally like don't understand the Hebrew so much, even though I did grow up learning Hebrew, I don't know it so well. So I do read the English and I like to like translate and I need to understand in my own language and they're very much into that. Um, and like making sure it's not just like you're reading Chinese, like you're actually building that connection because the relationship is communication. That's like when you're speaking to someone, that is the relationship. So I have the same thing that I say every morning, and it's like the same thing, but at the end, I always try to, or in the middle, add in my own words, and there's spaces where you can add your own words. And then throughout the day, like when things happen, like, um, when something really sometimes I had this moment, I was at the Western Wall, and I just felt, like, amazing, like, euphoric, which is an incredible feeling, and I got to a really, like, high level of, spirituality or whatever you wanna call it, and, um, I remember being like, "God, let me be" Like, I was like, "Thank you, Shem. Thank you, God." And I'm like, "Let me be this happy when I don't feel this way, even when I don't feel like this level." So, like, little prayers like that. Like, I said today with my friend, like, I dropped my phone. I was like, "God, protect my phone. Like, just protect my phone," you know? And it's just like little, like, throughout the day, you have things that come up that I want to say, or if I have something specific that I have in mind, I'm trying to reach, you know, a job, a relationship, or whatever. But at the end of the day, God just wants you to turn to Him. You know, He just wants you to communicate to Him. So, like, even like a husband and wife, for example, like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't talk. I'm not married yet, but like, just like that relationship, it's like that, just that tension at eye to eye level is what is the relationship. You know, so God kind of wants that. So there is like that ritual of like, you say good morning, you say good night, you know, to your spouse, but like there is also that other communication, just like opening up your heart to that person and
Mm,
hearing them, you know, and taking them in also.
yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that. It's so interesting. And before we started this podcast, we were sharing, you were talking about the triangle with you, God, and the connection to others. Can you share a little bit more around that?
I didn't even like go into it, the ROGA, but my main what I really want and what like I want a butterfly effect. Like I believe that one tiny thing can have a huge butterfly effect on so much. And I always been compared to like a butterfly. So I just love that like analogy. And when we, let's say, work on a relationship with a God, then that affects our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with others. And there's three relationships that kind of like the main relationships in life, which is God, ourselves, and others. And it's kind of like all connected. And I believe that's why, like with Roga, I really try to tap into like our relationship with ourselves and self love and self acceptance and communication. Because, and there's also obviously with others, because we're talking to other people, and there's with God, but I believe that the more we work on any three relationship, when you work on on each relationship, they help each other. So it's kind of
Mm,
like kind of the triangle. So when I'm working on myself and on my self love and how I communicate with myself, that affects how my relationship with God and my relationship with others. And I really believe that the more calmness, let's say, we could bring within ourselves, the more effect have on others and God. And I think it's all connected. It's all one. There's a oneness between everyone, and people that let's say believe that they can't do anything. I really believe in like changing yourself. That's like that. I've seen that in my life. I've seen the people around me change because I changed. You know what I mean? And because I um, got to a more spiritual level, or because I felt more calm. And even like let's say I also work in like the daytime in a preschool. I'm like a preschool teacher. Like just like now in Israel and the whole thing, and I also just love and adore kids. I think they have such a purity and they are connected to God. It's unbelievable, and they're so real and they're so joyful, and they dance whenever they feel like it. But basically, even in there, like if I come in with like a mood, they feel that, and then when I come in calm and I'm aligned, the whole energy changes. So that's also like a big part of like. So if I come to God feeling like, well, I feel like God can really handle anything, right? Obviously. And whenever I come to him, he's accepting me. But I know when I come to him calm and I get into my state and I get into my higher self and I get into that um Roga state, I feel like the connection with him is just so much more better. Just like with the kids that I teach or with a friend, you know, if I'm oh like all over the place, which again, if you know me, I could be like that, then it's hard to make that connection, to make that eye contact, to make that communication. So kind of tying it back to Roga, like when we are calm, all the relationships kind of line up and it's easier to kind of bridge the gap
mm. That's
forward.
true. It's a beautiful share. Really beautiful. Thank you. Because it all makes sense. Like you said, we are all one. And I know that, from having a daughter, like you're always mirrored. Like it has nothing to do with how they are. It's more about what energy are you bringing into the room, like from what frequency, like they're catching, like they're picking up on
They're
like
sensitive.
everything. Every
Mhm.
single thing. So whenever I see that my daughter, whatever, how she's saying or acting, I'm like, okay, I need to take a look in the mirror. What is going on with you? Like, because they're mirroring something that is happening inside of you, that you're not calm or whatever you say. And then as soon as you change that, like everything is changing externally too. When you change on the internal, your external world is also changing. So I think it's beautiful that you're working with kids and you always have this kind of like mirroring, because they're so one group of people and they're so honest. Like you only get the truth from the kids.
I love it. It's like so refreshing, you know? Like I come like, you guys like, what do you think about my dress? They're like, no, or yes. Like they're just so real. And I feel like, yeah, I just love that energy. I feel like it really helps me tap into my like childlike. And I heard this beautiful thing of like the artist is like the child that survived, like someone that's able to really be like, you know, because I feel like there's a lot. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but like the society or whatever kind of builds us in like a square, like you said, the box. And I feel like kids are making a mush kebab. Like, what do you mean box? Like they're just, and I feel like we really, when we could take that energy and use it to like kind of co-create with God and to be able to really give to the people around you, receive, and just to, in the relationships in life, that kind of free energy and the real of whoever you are. Kids are very real with, they're like, this is my bike, this is my scooter, this is my color that I want. They really like, they're very tapped in. So it's like a side point of just like, um, I feel like people tell me a lot that I have this like youthful, like young, pure energy. And I think it's because I've held on to that and I didn't and let the system kind of take it away from me, you know, or kind of cover it up, you know, which is
Yeah,
what I like to do in the circles in the Roga, like kind of tap into that.
yeah, I feel like we always have it's always there within you. It's a matter of like how connected are you to that part of yourself? Like how much are you allowing yourself to be in that expression and to be in your authentic self and not like put yourself in that box that no one even created. It's just like it doesn't even exist. Like we just like it's in your imagination. Like what
Yeah.
is even a box,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. We're in like
So
this beautiful, magical world, like with trees and waterfalls and mountains. Like I saw this beautiful quote said, like when you look at a sunrise or sunset, and like you look and wow, it's so beautiful. Like the same God that made that made you. You know what I mean? You're like so amazed by that world, and like that's like we're one, we're the same. Like you know, so
oh,
and
that's
that's
such
just
a beautiful reflection to like a reminder. Such a beautiful reminder, Rivka. And I think we all need that reminder because we forget in our busy day and like take a moment and look at the sun, look at the bird, like look at the beautiful flowers, like all these beautiful surroundings that surround us. And like
yeah.
remember how magical you are.
I do want to say that nature also helped me tremendously to connect with God. I can't believe I didn't like add that in the beginning, but nature, water, air, trees. I'm a very much a tree hugger. I know people are like, you know, oh no, but like it, and I always tell people when someone gives me like a kind of like, oh, you're a tree hugger, and I'm like, you know that we're like, breathing because of these trees. Like we're actually alive because of these trees. Like you don't think like hugging them or touching them is gonna do anything. Like but also remembering that like God created those trees. It's not like those trees are so special. Like God's powering those trees. God is like behind it. So also like having that in mind when you tap into nature and you tap in, like it's not the nature, it's the art, it's the artist. You know,
Yeah, it's this. I feel like there is like your journey is such a beautiful journey and how you like shared everything from your life in New York and now living your dream life in Jerusalem where you feel so alive and so connected and living with this intention, building your community and really serving your community. And I was just like curious to know if there is one thing about Judaism that you think that everybody should know about, like if there's a quote, if there's a belief, like what would it be like from your
that's a
perspective?
beautiful question, and that actually made my heart dance. Like just thinking about like so much, but the main one that I feel like I really grew up with, and it's like a staple for us. It's in Hebrew. It's called "V'ahavta l'recha kamocha," which means love your fellow like you love yourself. And that's like a real staple within us. And I feel like again, it ties back to if we don't, there's so much within that, but that you can like dive into. But if you don't love yourself, you can't love another. So love your fellow like you love yourself, and also the level that you love yourself is the level you love someone else. And there's like so much like mirroring within that even. And I feel like love is the answer. I'm very much like a hippie in that way, and peace and love, and kill them with kindness. And I feel like that sentence, um, you know. and from someone that sometimes I don't give off. Sometimes I could like I'm not oh lovey all day, you know. Like I have hard days and I have hard relationships and conversations that I wish I put more love in, and I feel like that's a good reminder for me and hopefully for anyone that's listening to really again when we love ourselves, we're able to love others so much more. The more we love ourselves, it's not about giving to that person. How can I make them happy? How can I make that? Like, it's what can I do to fill up my cup? Because then you'll just overflow. Like, you know, we just that's it. And it's I'm not telling myself this, you know, I'm already telling myself. I would love to go into the fashion show, which you didn't get into, but um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't actually
please.
have time for that.
Please please share that the fashion show what you did back in New York. Like please
Yeah,
share that before we end with your beautiful meditation because I was like, ooh, I got
yeah,
goosebumps when you said, you know, the love your fellow like you love yourself like you love your fellow. Is that
yeah.
right?
Yeah, love your fellow like you love yourself. Love your fellow man
Love
like you love.
love your fellow like you love yourself. And it was just so beautiful to listen to it in Hebrew, like the original language
Yeah,
what you grew up with.
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, it's like
beautiful.
there's like songs with it and everything. Yeah. And I feel this kind of ties into the fashion show, which I'm
Yeah.
representing the jacket that I'm wearing. So after October 7th and like just the whole thing with Israel, my friend came up to me and she was like, I want to give girls like a, there's a law also called sneud where like women dress like more modest, right? It's called modesty. And she's like, I want to help women like, you know, dress more modestly. I want to like get clothing donated and like, um, get clothing donated and sell it to them for like a good price. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. I'll do a fashion show. I just like for fun. I thought it was gonna be like little 12-year-old girls. And then eventually we got like a whole team and it kind of grew from there. And I saw God in every step of that experience because I did it was a nonprofit. I wasn't getting paid and I was doing it because I wanted to give to Israel. And she's like, all the money we make, we're gonna send it off to Israel to, you know, to the soldiers or to wherever. And we did one fashion show and it was a fashion show, clothing sale, and raffles all in one. And all the communities within Queens, New York, and it was called Threads of Kindness because the threads of the clothing literally was going to, you know, our brothers and sisters in Israel. And it just expanded my heart. It was such an incredible experience. And I got to lead ages 3 to like 7 years old, 30 models. We got them dressed up in the clothing that we got. We got so many clothing donated from all over the community, from all over New York. It was like New York and New Jersey. Like I was just there's so much to say about this event, but yeah, Threads of Kindness, and we did 3 events, and we raised around 15 to 20K each event that all got sent to different organizations in Israel, and we got to give people in New York like purpose in getting dressed. I feel like women hold so much power in what they wear, and and it's not for men. I'm very not into like getting like, oh, like you have to be modest because men can't handle it. Like, no, be modest for yourself, for your ego, for your feel like a queen. You should feel like a queen, you know? And that was like the a lot of times modesty has like a very like ick to it. And I feel like my goal with the fashion show, I was like the fashion designer that the women that were running, or the kids. It was a 3-year-old that again, a 7-year-old, we had a bubby, like a grandma, and to really feel like they are a daughter of a king because they are the daughter of God, you know, each of and every one of us. So that was like kind of really what and the behalf of like there's so much love within that whole process of like from the people that donated, from people that bought clothing and it was tears. Like it wasn't even and people said they felt God in the room, which was like such a beautiful like for someone to tell us that because I feel like we really put our souls into it. It wasn't just like we're doing it and we're making the calls. Like we put our souls, everyone on the team that made it happen. And it was such an incredible experience. We hope to do it again. But I'm in Israel now, and everyone, most of them are in New York, so we have to see how to make that work. But I still, you know, I have my Instagram, I do my fashion there, and I really believe in dressing like the daughter of the king. You know.
That's such a beautiful event that you created and the intention of it and how much love that was spread in the room and everybody felt it. I even felt it when you spoke about it now, how everybody deserves to dress and feel like the queen, like you are. When people feel beautiful, like and clothing is just so much more than a piece of clothing. It's a frequency, it's an energy. And when you feel it, it's like your energy shifts.
I have a saying that said, I look good from the outside in. Feel good from the outside in. Because sometimes I'm having a bad day, but I get dressed up and my inside changes instantly. I'm putting lip gloss on, I'm instantly in a better mood. And listen, also go to therapy and also do the inner work, but it helps. You know, it's a tool, another tool in your toolbox, you know, to really get dressed, look good, wake up and feel good about yourself. That's self-love. That's self-love, you know.
That is
Look
definitely
in the mirror and
self-love.
be like, damn, you know, you
You
should.
got this. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. And we're even matching today, like
I love,
white
look
and
at that.
blue.
Which is
It's
Israel's
like
color, so it really like represents it today. Yeah, the flag.
this. I didn't even think about that because I went to the room and my daughter is like, "What about this?" She's like, "No, it doesn't match with that one. What about the blue one?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, you can go with that." And she's like,
Nice.
"Thumbs up, go with the
It's your
blue one." I'm
color,
like,
by the way. The blue
"Yeah,
definitely
I
suited.
love the blue."
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's so much to talk about. So, are you are you ready to take us into the ROGA universe, like with your meditation?
Yes, I'm so excited. And something actually hurt my heart recently. So it's like she came to me. I was having a hard day, and she's like, Rivka, you think that you're like so happy that God's your father, right? God's your king. You're like all about God's your king, and you're like, you know, God's looking at you and being like, that's my daughter. God's looking at you and be like, that's my daughter. You know what I mean? Like he's so proud of you. He loves you so much. So I feel like I'm gonna do a lot of that. I feel like this whole like godliness and my daughter, my king is really coming up. So we're gonna get into that with the meditation and really tap into that royalty that we are, you know. Um,
It's
yeah,
perfect. Wow, I'm so excited. So whenever you're ready, Rivka, you
thank
can
you.
start.
Okay. So let's just begin by closing our eyes. Make sure you're not driving while listening to this. And finding a comfortable seat or laying down, closing your eyes, kind of feeling your body a little bit, taking a deep breath in through the nose, filling up our lungs, and letting a sigh out through the mouth. And just letting go. When we let a sigh out, we're telling our bodies like, okay, we've arrived. So let's arrive in this moment, taking another deep breath in through the nose. Hold it on top, filling up our hearts and our lungs. Dropping your shoulders down, sinking a little deeper into where you're sitting or laying. And we're just going to do a quick body scan to kind of pay attention to our bodies and the miracle that our bodies are. So we're just going to start with our heads, our minds, filling that up with God's light coming in from the crown of your head and even placing a beautiful crown on the top of your head. And imagining the light, beautiful love, pink and white light coming in through the top of your head, filling up your mind, your ears, your eyes, your neck. And as you fill it up, you could feel it softening, you could feel it relaxing, and moving down your shoulders and your arms, your elbows, your hands, feeling any tingling or sensations, paying attention, and just noticing. Taking another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, slowly, and feeling the love. What does love feel like? And feeling that the crown on your head, just allowing the light of God fill up your body, your heart, your chest, your lungs. I love to always say in meditations that the ribs are actually hugging your heart all day long and protecting it. And just that thought alone fills my heart with so much love. And the more we fill our bodies with love, the more that we can share that. And moving down to our stomachs, our system, the place that allows us to take in what's good and leave what's bad. Maybe thinking, let's bring some gratitude when you thank your stomach for all the hard work it does for you without you even asking. God is we can't come up with this stuff, the level of miraculousness that our bodies is. And just paying attention to that and bringing that consciousness into this moment, into our bodies, and bringing so much gratitude into our hearts, minds, and soul right now in this moment. Taking out a deep breath into the nose and out through the mouth slowly, all the way out, dropping your shoulders even more. moving down to our hips. Women hold a lot in our hips. We want to just let it go now. Release any tension and filling it up with that love and that light from the crown of our heads all the way down to our hips, our thighs, our beautiful thighs, our knees. Taking another deep breath in here, filling our bodies up with air all the way down to our knees, letting it all go, moving down to our calves, our ankles, our toes, and just filling up and bringing so much tranquility and relaxation into our bodies through just noticing and through our breath. It says in the Torah, in the Bible, that God breathed into Adam. He breathed into him. Our breath is our actual source. It's what pumps our body, which holds our soul. It's such a powerful thing, and it's free. And we're allowed to use it whenever we want. And I invite you to really use your breath, notice your breath, and not just leave it in this space, but take it with you and use your breath as a tool to connect you closer to your soul. Taking another beautiful and magical deep breath into the nose. And maybe put a smile on your face, even if it's fake. And let it all go. Because sometimes when we actually put a smile on our face, it tells our brains oh, we're meant to be happy right now, and starts thinking of reasons to be happy, and you actually get happier. So that's also a little trick in the toolbox to kind of tap into a higher energy. And now that we feel a little more relaxed, kind of noticing how we felt when we started and how we feel now, I want you to just picture in your mind's eye, your imagination, a beautiful castle. And it's the most beautiful castle I've ever seen. I want you to design it however you like. If it's blues, it's pink, if it's bricks, if it has marble. I want you to just picture it now. And you're in this beautiful field watching this castle come to life with your imagination. Adding whatever you love, whatever colors, whatever textures you want to this castle. And then feel your heart being pulled to walk towards the castle. You're walking, and God turns to you and he's smiling. He's like, that's your castle. That's for you. I want you to feel like royalty. I want you to know that you are royalty. And you have the crown on your head and you just feel so loved right now in this moment. And you walk into your castle and it's everything you want, the pools and the walls, horses or mermaids, whatever you want in this castle is yours to create. And there's a big something I really talk about is the power of imagination. Because our bodies actually don't know the difference between imagination and reality. So when we create, let's say, anxious thoughts of oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, our bodies act accordingly. We start hunching, start crouching. But we also have the same power and same imagination to say, what if it does work out? What if it's actually amazing? What if it's beautiful? And our shoulders start to drop and we open up our chest and we are able to use our imagination to our advantage. Let's take another deep breath in here in our castles. Holding on top, slowly letting it all go. Feeling Hashem, feeling God's light low into our heads, all the way down our bodies to our toes. And knowing that He is our soul's eternity. He is constantly there. There is no one else but Him. God is He is our Father, and He wants the best for us. And with that, I invite you to open your arms up like a T if you can, and give yourself a nice big hug. And say thank you to yourself for showing up, for doing the work, for making it this far. You did not come this far to make it this far. Maybe give yourself a squeeze. Maybe say some affirmations. I invite you to say, I love myself. And if that's too much, you can say, I want to love myself. Say, I'm here. I'm enough. I am worthy. I am royalty. And when you're ready, slowly bring your hands down. Slowly blink your eyes open. Maybe wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Pull out your shoulders. I invite you to drink a lot of water. We just kind of did like a workout for our minds and our souls. So it's, stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, come back to the now. I made this be a butterfly effect to so many more beautiful things in your life. And know that this energy that you feel right now is yours to keep, and you could have it within you. And this has been Yoga with Rivka, aka ROGA. Thank you so much for joining me. The light in you, see the light in you. It's been such a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope we see better days and more calmness in our reality as a whole.
Wow, thank you so much, Rivka. This was such a beautiful meditation and with visualization. I feel like I have such a beautiful feeling. And yeah, thank you so much, Rivka. And if people want to connect with you, where can they find you? If they want to have more of this feeling and want to enjoy or attend your events that you're hosting.
Right now, the best way is on Instagram, which is Rivka.Dosh. It's like my last name and first name mixed. And you could totally DM me. I'll spell it out, RIVKA.DOSH. Um, and you could DM me and I'll give you my WhatsApp number. It's women only. And it is a Jewish community, but ours welcome. And I also do post breathing on my Instagram. I do fashion. I do a lot of self love, about healing, about Israel. So very colorful. Yeah, Instagram is the best way to reach me, and I hope to get in touch. Please reach out if you have any questions. If you want to get connected, I love meeting new people, especially people that are on the frequency. And yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much, Rivka, for sharing, coming on here and sharing your wisdom and your beautiful frequency. So, yay. I hope to see you in person soon, too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for talking to me. Thank you for bringing more light into this world. You're glowing, and it's for good reason. You're taking what God given you, and you're using it to bring light, and that's just beautiful, and I admire that a lot. So thank you. And yeah, I can't wait. Come to Israel.
I
I
will.
would love to be in person. Yes,
I,
you're already
I
ready.
can. I am ready. I'm dressed. I mean,
Right.
amazing. Thank you,
Thank
Rivka.
you.